Hey guys, it's been a while since I made a video, but I could possibly have strep throat, so it just seemed like today should be a good day to make a video. And today's video is about just one of these two things here. It's just graphing inequalities, and then part two will be the solving part. So just today, we want to be able to just graph, not solve, inequalities. So let's go ahead and get started. What does that look like? Before we graph inequalities, I want you to see what it looks like to just actually graph a regular number on a number line. And this is important as we move forward. So if we have x is equal to 4, what am I going to do? I'm going to find the 4, and I'm going to put a circle right where that 4 is. Okay, and looks like this, like a dot, right on the number line, right at 4, and notice that it's filled in. Okay, and the next one, if I have x is equal to -2, I'm going to again find the -2 on the number line, and I'm going to put a circle. I'm going to fill it in because it's equal to that. It's not equal to anything else. It can't be anything else. It's just that one single answer. And one more time, the last one is x is equal to 0. So what does that look like? I'm going to find 0, of course, right here in the center, and I'm going to make a dot right on the number line, right at 0, and it's filled in. Okay, so what does that mean for us? Well, we're going to be working with inequalities, and that means that x is not equal to just one value. That x could be many values. And so there are 4 symbols that we're going to be looking at today. And you've seen them before, and they're right here. So the less than sign. So 5 is less than 7. And so you could also read that backwards. 7 is greater than 5. Okay. And then we're going to use variables, of course. So instead of 5 per se, we could say that x is less than 7, or x is greater than 7. Okay. And then sometimes we're going to see these next two signs, and I want you to notice the difference. Okay, this first one here is less than. Notice it still has that less than, like mouth or whatever you want to call it, Pac-Man or alligator mouth, but it also has or equal to, and so we just do like half the equal sign, so one line. Okay, and then the same thing, x could also be greater than, it's going to have the open mouth again, and then or equal, so it's going to have the other half of the equal sign, the bottom half. Okay, and I just use 7 as an example. We'll go through lots of examples of what that really means. Okay, so when we graph these, and I'm going to go over this many times so that you can see and hopefully understand it, because that's our goal by the end of the lesson. But when we graph these, if it's just that less than or the equal, or excuse me, less than or the greater than sign, no bottom line, we are going to plot an open circle. So that means, like, if at the beginning I did x is equal to 4, well, let's say that x is less than 4, then I'm going to find 4 on the number line, and I'm going to put a circle there. And I'm not going to fill it in like I did when I said x is equal to 4. And then I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay, now we can't see arrows very well, especially same color, and you're going to have pencil. So what you do is you can draw a squiggly line, and then you're going to draw an arrow to the direction that you need to. Okay? But if it does have that equal part, see that bottom line there? That means, or it could be equal to, then we're going to fill in the circle. So if x is greater than or equal to 4, then I'll still find 4 on the number line, but this time I'm going to fill it in. Okay. So after you make that circle, then what you're going to do is you're going to draw an arrow to show the direction of the rest of the x values. So if x is greater than 4, I already have the is equal to by making this circle here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arrow to show any values that are greater than 4. Okay. And again, we're going to practice this. I'm going to give you a little bit more information, and yeah, that's our goal by the end of this video. Okay, so on your graphic organizer, first thing you need to know is like how to read these and how to write them if we do have words. So on your graphic organizer at the top there, we're going to write these inequalities in word form. So the first one, a number y, so y is my variable, less than, so what does the less than symbol look like? Means it's going to eat the other number. That means the other number is bigger, is -9. So y is less than -9. B, a number n, that's our variable, greater than, okay, greater than, that means it's bigger than 5. And these are all things that once we get these things, then we're going to graph them on those number lines. Letter C. A number x less than or equal to -4. So we write that x and then the less than symbol, but then also half the equal sign. -4. And then 2. Greater than or equal to a number y. And this is a little bit different. That it'll be towards the end of the video that we'll look at it on how to graph. So 2 is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to draw that little line underneath it, to a number y, to that variable y. Okay, and again, you should know by now to pause the video whenever you need to, so you can copy these things down. Letter E. When graphing an inequality, you use one of these 4 symbols. So it's the less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And this is really cool because if you always have the variable first, for letter F, the direction of the symbol will tell you which way to draw the arrow on the number line. So if we have, like I had earlier, x is greater than 4, or greater than or equal to, I don't remember which, whatever, then I'm going to find that 4 on the number line. This is going to be an open circle, and then look, I'm going to get the different color here. This right here will be my arrow. Okay, so it's telling me which way to go. Boop, boop. And I go that way. Okay, see how that is going the same direction. As long as the variable, the letter, is first. Okay? Again, these are all things we're going to practice, so no worries if you're confused. Okay, so G, when the inequality symbol is pointing this way, that's called less than. So I want you to write less than here. Or greater than. Guess what? You're going to write greater than here. You graph with an open circle. Okay, you're not going to fill it in. When the inequality is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. That's how you read those. You graph with a closed circle. And a closed circle just means it's all filled in, because it could be equal to, it could be that value. Just like I started the video tonight, or today, whatever. I'm recording this at night, so I just said tonight, sorry. Okay. Just a review. So if it's less than or greater than, you're going to have an open circle and then the direction of the arrow. And as long as that variable is first, see how this is pointing that way, so the arrow is pointing that way. If it's greater than, it's pointing that way. And notice the arrow is pointing that way, so these go together. Okay, you're not writing anything on your, well, you can write it on your sheet, but you don't have to. Okay. Likewise, if we have, I was going to show you. So x is greater than 4. Here I go again. So I'm going to find 4. This is going to be an open circle at 4, and x is greater than. And notice it's telling me to make my arrow go to the right, so my arrow is going to go this way. And typically you'll probably write like a little squiggly arrow to show which direction, because if you just write it right on top of the line, sometimes we can't see it. Okay, and how about the next one? X is less than 0, so I'm going to find 0, and we obviously can see that, and it's less than, and so it's an open circle, and notice it's telling me which direction. I'm going to go to the left. A squiggly arrow to the left, and that's how we would graph that. Okay, next. When it is the less than or equal to, then we have these closed circles. But again, it tells us the direction of the arrow. So less than or equal to, we have this closed circle, and it's telling me the arrow needs to go this way. Greater than or equal to, closed circle, because it's the equal to, could be that value, and then my arrow is going to go this way. Okay. Alright, so some examples of that. If we have x is greater than or equal to 4, I'm going to find 4, and because I have this symbol here, I'm going to make a closed circle, and then I'm going to draw my arrow that same direction. Okay. Next one. These aren't on your paper. Okay, I'm just showing you some examples. So x is less than or equal to 0. I'm going to find 0. It's equal to, because of here, so I'm going to make a closed circle, and then my arrow. Like that. Alright, now back to your paper. So I want you to maybe pause the video, see if you can solve them, and then check your answer. Okay, so for this first one, v is greater than -6. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find -6. Because it doesn't have that equal sign, what kind of circle am I going to have? An open circle. Oops, sorry. An open circle. So I'm going to have an open circle, and my arrow is going to go this way with that squiggly line. Okay, example 2. Same thing. I'm going to find, it says A is less than 1, so I'm going to find 1. And my thinking is, it doesn't have the equal sign, so I'm going to have an open circle, and A is supposed to be less than 1, so all of the values to the left of it are going to be a possible example. Okay, and again, see how the The arrow tells me which way to go. Example 3. X is less than or equal to 5. So I have to look at this number line. It's a little bit different, but looks like 10, 20, and negative 10, negative 20. So each little mark is going to be 5. So here's my 5, and now I need to know, is it open or closed? It's closed because it has that equal part right there. And then which direction does my arrow go? That way, to the left. So any of these values to the left. Okay, example 4. B is greater than or equal to 3. So again, I'm going to find 3. What kind of circle? It's going to be closed because we have the equal part. Could be 3, or it has to be greater than 3. So we're going to go to the right, just like the symbol. Next one. Example. Okay, so if the variable is on the right, then we have to switch the variable and switch the sign around and then keep the same number or whatever value is given. Okay, so what does that look like? Up at the top here we have negative 5 is less than or equal to y, or. That or means we're going to switch them around. So I'm going to keep the variable the same, but I'm going to write it first. Instead of the symbol being less than or equal to, it's going to be greater than or equal to. So notice that in the first part here, the mouth is open towards the y, and the second part, it's still open towards the y. So I just switched it around, and then negative 5. Now, why do we do that? Because now I know the direction of my arrow. Okay? And again, so I'm going to find the negative 5, and is it open or closed? It's closed because it has the equal sign, and then this one tells me the direction of my arrow because the variable is on the left. So all of these answers. Okay. I'm going to look at that, an example like that again. Example 6. We've got N, and then the arrow is pointing at the end, and equal to, and then 3. So now don't worry about this one. We're going to use the new one. I'm going to find 3. And what kind of circle do we have? We have a closed circle because it's that equal part, and now my arrow is going to go to the left. Okay. And next example. 8 is less than W, or we're going to keep that W. Notice the mouth is open to W, and keep that 8. So don't worry about this anymore. W is greater than 8. Sorry, that 8 doesn't look very nice. Oh. So again, we're going to find 8. What kind of circle is it? It's open because we don't have that little line underneath. It's not equal to 8, but it's greater than 8. And which direction does my arrow go? To the right. Okay. And next one. We have negative 6 is greater than N, or N, and the arrow is pointing at the end, negative 6. So the mouth is open towards the negative 6. I'm not going to use this one anymore. N is less than negative 6. So we're going to find negative 6 on the red side here. And what kind of circle is it? It's an open circle because it doesn't have that little equal part underneath. And then my arrow is going to go to the left. Okay. And example 9. This one is already ready to go for us. We have the variable on the left. I think I said that wrong. oh yeah, if the variable's on the right, we want it on the left. So here we go. Y is less than or equal to 7. We don't have to do the OR part. Okay, we don't have to switch it around. We're not going to switch it around. Okay, and we're going to find 7. And it's got that equal part, so it's going to be a closed circle. And we're going to make our arrow to the left. Okay. And I think I have one more example here for you. N is greater than -3. Again, the variable's on the left, that's where we want it. We don't have to switch it around. So N is greater than -3. I'm going to find -3. What kind of circle is it? It's an open circle because it doesn't have that little equal part, and the arrow is going to go to the right, just like this. Okay. So those are all the examples. Now you have some examples to look at, and I believe your assignment is on the back side. When you complete that assignment, there are 14 problems, and if and when you finish, you can turn it in, and you should work on IXL. AA1, notice it's the double A. It's in IXL, it's all the way over to the right. AA1 and AA2, and always go for that 85 SMART score. Alright, I hope you guys are doing well, and take care.